this is going to be the last video on the MyDate development class, and basically I said, well, there's got to be a better way to handle the situation where you have to determine whether which months have 30 days, 31 days. I used a switch statement, and if you think about it, an array lends itself perfectly for that. So what I'm going to do is not delete the good code that we have here. So what I'm going to do is copy this right there, and I'm going to paste it, and I'm going to call this MyDate 1. Okay, just to save it. I'm not going to touch that. This guy right here, I'm going to call MyDate 2. So what I'm going to do is that's called refactoring when you want to change something in a program. So I'm going to rename this to MyDate 2. Enter. And now we have the two versions back to back. And what I'm going to do is manipulate MyDate 2. And I believe the main driver, let me take a look at the main driver. The main driver updated itself to use MyDate 2. Okay, perfect. Alright, so let's go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. Let's tighten this up a little bit. And right over here, what I'm going to do is paste in, copy, a piece of code here, which is basically an array of integers. And if you take a look at those integers, we'll worry about the 0 in a second, 31, 28, 31, those are the number of days in each month that we have. And if we reference these individual elements, we won't need a case statement. The fact that we have a 0 here that's just a little placeholder, because our months start off with index 1, right? January is index 1. If I want to look up what January is, I would say month array of 1 for index 1, and that's the first month. I'm going to grab the 31. I'll never access this element. That's just there to offset these values, because when we're dealing with our months, it's 1 based, but when you're dealing with Java, everything is 0 based. So this is just a placeholder to push these other numbers all along there. So we're wasting a little bit of space, but let's not worry about that. We have the month array, it's an array of integers, and it's static, very important. I could have made it non-static. The problem here is, here's the problem. If it's non-static, X has its own copy of that array, and save has its own copy of the array. You're really wasting space. There's no reason to have multiple copies of this element, because this is an attribute. If we make it static, then we only have one copy of that array in memory, and we won't be wasting space. So where do we use that? Let me take a look here. My first, anywhere we have this big long case statement here, let's get rid of this code. Let me get rid of this code. Okay, and I'm going to substitute in this code here. Okay, put that right in there, and you can see it's already short and sweet. And what's happening here is we're not really using a case statement here. I mean, if month is equal to 2, well, that's code that's dealing with February. You could take a look at that. If month is a value between 1 and 12, then it's definitely not 2. It's a number between 1 and 12 that's not 2. Then what we want to do is just reference this particular element. There's no need to we want to make sure the day is proper. We don't need to have a case statement here. If we're dealing with May, month array of 5 automatically gets us to the 5th element of the array, number 5. So this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll extract the 31 when you don't need that weird that weird case statement. So this way here we can say that the valid day has to be between 1 and 31. We set it. Now, if it's not, if we're trying to set month 13, then that's a very bad month. We'll output that message. Our array is short and sweet. Now, there's another place where we use that, and get days in month. Get days in month. Get days in month. Yeah, get rid of that code. That's too long and dumb, and we need to fix that. Okay. And here's what we're going to do here. Get days in the month. Copy, and I'm I'm going to put this code in here, and you can see that it's already short and sweet right here. All right, now this is a static. Okay, this is going to be non-static. Non-static, that's right, because we're going to extract this here. This is what we're going to do. I changed that method from static to non-static, and if I want to get the days in the particular month, so in this particular month, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the current value of the month. We're going to grab the number of days in that month, and this month is 2. We're going to extract that number of days. Now, number of days past is an error because we need to change that code here a little bit. We're going to go ahead and say number of days past. We paste that in there, and the number of days past is you know what? This is code that you can understand. This is not hard code. Okay. Only difference now is that we're not referencing a case. We're not using a method. What we're doing is we're just taking a look at the month array and extracting the number for the number of days of month array. And I think there's just one other, yeah, the increment date things and decrement needs to change, and then we'll be good to go. Copy that, and then this has to change now. Let's go over here. See, we were replacing the static method. In fact, it's gone. Let's go here and get rid of this. Paste that. And in this case, we extract the number of months in a particular, the number of days in a particular month, but that code doesn't take into consideration the February situation with leap year, so that's why we have that element there, that if statement there. And I think this is good. It's shortened up the code a lot. It really did shorten up the code a lot. Let's take a look at this. What you have to understand here, this has got to be static, okay? And what happens is any method in your class can access static values. The only difference, whether it's static or non-static, you only have one copy of that storage in memory. So you're not wasting space. This would still work by getting rid of the static. The problem now is if you had 1,000 dates in your program, each of those dates would have its own little copy of this array, and you're wasting a ton of storage, because certainly each of those values doesn't change. The number of months the number of days in a month doesn't change. That's why you make one copy and store your data efficiently. So I think when I look at it, yeah, I can get rid of this method entirely. Yeah, get rid of that method entirely. Okay, so we're talking. All you should look at is the utility methods: number of days left, number of days past, increment date, decrement date. Let's see if this works. Let's go back to the main driver. Let's run this. Okay, yeah, looks like it might work. 300 days behind, and if this is 300, positive 300. And 5/8, yeah, I think I remember that date as well. So this is not a thorough, testing of this program. You really have to do a much more exhaustive testing. I wouldn't release this code to the world just yet. But I feel pretty confident that it's not bad. It's not bad code. So I'm going to stop this video here. We're done with chapter 9. And we're going to go into, I think we're going to revisit MyDate a little bit later in other chapters, because there's more complicated things that we could do with this class. And we'll just wait for those chapters to discuss those more complicated things. All right, we'll see you in the next chapter. Take care.